A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. My name is Caleb Magaya and I am joined today by Dr. Teresia Nganga. She has a PhD in dryland resource management. She is the founder of Jolly Footprints Limited, specializing in F1 commercial Kuroilers. And with her is her son, Mr. Noel, an entrepreneur and civil engineering student at the University of Nairobi. He collaborates with Dr. Nganga at Jolly Footprints Limited. So, Madam Teresia, Mr. Noel, karibu sana.
Asante. So I am the founder and director of Jolly Footprints Limited, a company that we started a while ago with the motivation of reaching out to our rural women and trying to figure out how do we ensure that we have improved livelihood with the basic livestock that they're already used to. And that was our Kenyeji bird. You see this Kenyeji bird that runs up and down? So that was my main motivation of starting up something that could help me as a business person, first for myself, be able to educate my children and be able to have an income for the family, but also be able to teach others how to do business. I'll say that one of the biggest challenges we have currently is the feed costs. Feed is quite expensive, and it's really discouraging farmers from getting into the business. And one of the solutions that is coming up is we have alternatives like the Azolla production, which we haven't started ourselves, but we are really thinking in our next expansion level, we want to be able to produce the Azolla. We have the black soldier fly that has high protein content, and I guess that the main reason why we have this kind of challenges is the way we are competing for example, protein competes with the protein being used like soya is in competition with the human feed. Also our low production of maize in the country. And so I think if we're able to really engage farmers in producing, like for example, maize specifically for feed, like the yellow maize, that is not in competition with the maize for ugali, but also be able to have alternatives, then we'll be somewhere. That is one of our main challenges. There's no microwave businesses where you put your bread in, the next time you know, we want to have people who give time to the business. Right. For me, once I'm able to now get comfortably out of Kenya, and I'm now an authority in Zambia, in South Africa, training farmers about how to formalize your commercial indigenous birds into a commercial enterprise. That for me will be the best moment in my life. I think one of the greatest legacies I would love to live in this world is youth mentorship. Yes. Building young leaders. And I've started with my own. This is my son. And he tells me things that at times I'm like, oh my goodness, that is for the future, you know? But creating young leaders from the word go. When we were growing up, we used to be told the future belongs to you. Yes. Even today, we are still being told the future belongs to us. Yeah. So many kwa bidii, and wondering, so where is this future coming in, you know? So for me, I want to be able, I have retired, and now I'm preparing my sons in terms of succession, in terms of what do they think they can do for the business. Yes. Yeah. So one of the legacy that I know that I'm going to leave is creating young leaders. And around the country, I have over 200 young people who know me because I have trained them. Yeah. And they don't have to keep chicken. No, but they're earning money from what I have trained them. Yes, that's right. On how to influence others.
Moving on to Mr. Noel. Your mother is a very influential person in the business industry, right? That's in the poultry industry. Poultry, I mean. So, what key lessons and insights have you learned from your mother, from your mother's experience rather, as an entrepreneur?
I think from a lot of what you've heard her say, I think if you listen to her carefully, you'll realize that there's a very outstanding and dominant theme on the creation of employment, with emphasis on self-employment. Right. This Kuroiler bird, even if it is a way, it is ideally it is a business. Let's be real. It is a business. Yes. But right. If you look at the kind of employment that it can create for the youth and the women in the villages, because let me give you an example of something I really resonate with that. An example I understand the most being myself. At home, I have 500 chicks in my ownership. 500 chicks which I can call mine, mine alone. See, not the mom zangu.
Yes.
And one of those chicks, because they are day old, we got them on Friday last week. A day old of those 500 chicks goes for 110 Kenya shillings. If you do your math in your head, you'll realize that's 55,000 shillings per month. Because she gives me 500 chicks per month as my own. So that adds up to 55,000 Kenya shillings per month. I am a second-year civil engineering student in the University of Nairobi, earning 55,000 shillings in a month. I mean, a lot of people are working in their offices right now, and to hit that kind of figure, of course, they're going to have to do. Of course, even the higher rank people, you might find they're not even earning that kind of money.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think that really goes to show how, a lot of people believe that because it is a chicken, the logistics of this, that, a lot of excuses and this and that. But I'm here to say that chicken doesn't have to be the rural form or the village form or the traditional, backyard things that people are thinking about. And that's where the Kuroiler bird comes in. The Kuroiler bird is ideally, let me put it this way, it is a modern kienyeji. Let me put it that way. It is a modern kienyeji. Because this bird is a bird that can survive in the most rudimentary conditions, no matter where you take this bird, because it is a modern kienyeji. It is still the kienyeji bird, the same indigenous bird from the word indigenous. Indigenous, it means kienyeji. So it is the most basic form of the indigenous bird, just that it is in a more formalized, a more modern system.
Right.
To enable it to be ideally raised by anybody. Whether you go in the middle of nowhere, you find an old lady, she can raise it. Whether you have a motorbike guy who takes you this to there, he can have his 5 chickens at home.
Right. Yeah.
And if he gets them on their day old, 110 shillings, he raises them to 4 months, he sells it at 1,000 shillings. How much has he gotten from that? 890 shillings. Right. 890 shillings on one bird. If he has 5, how many is that? That's a lot of money. A lot of money he's making at the end of the period in which he has raised them. So I think the theme of self-employment is something that really comes out in this, and something that I've learned from her.
Indeed.
There's a shortage, a very large shortage. There's a big shortage of jobs in the Kenyan job market. So I think people don't realize that the money that you're going to make in that office, that's sitting there from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, will be the same amount of money you make even pursuing the same poultry business. You'll still be able to achieve sustenance of yourself. I think that's a very important point.
Indeed. That's really inspiring right there. This is a young man in the world of business. Okay, so Dr. Teresia, we are back to you. Any parting words? What are your last words to young people like us?
Number one, let me first allow me just to appreciate this young man, because wazazi siku hizi wako na shida. Bringing up young people is not easy. It's not like during our time when we used to be shown kiboko and and now your mother looks at you like this and you're like, my goodness, kumewaka moto, So I really want to appreciate him, because he listens and he obeys what I tell him. It's not usually that easy, but at times, once in a while, he follows what I tell him, and I'm very, very happy. One of the things that I would want to see him do is not necessarily to take poultry and civil engineering as two separate things. There's a lot of, we are running out of space. He must be in construction, right? So how do we create affordable housing? Did I just say affordable housing? Okay. Affordable housing for chicken, like bring in all those skills that you have learned in school and try and see, can we go horizontal in terms of our poultry production? How I have a quarter-acre piece of land, but I also still want to keep poultry somewhere, Must I convert my garage to poultry, or can I have an inbuilt house with an underground chicken house? Something he really has to think about it. But in terms of my parting shot, I want to say that this journey has really taught me a lot, and have talked to various people. And recently we realized that there's a category of people that we are leaving aside. I told you about our Yetu model and how we are working with the rural community out there. But we are in a generation where I am in the city, I want to try something else in the village, but Kenyans, we cannot be trusted, or I employed, alafu sijui nini kafanyika, or those kind of things. So we came up with another model called the bread maker model, which is a commercial arm of the poultry value chain. And here we are targeting professionals, people who are busy, people who are out there in the cities doing things, but they would want to once in a while run to the village because they have 5,000 birds, you know. And so we have created a model where we are able to space it up in durations of 4 months. It's the same bird, but really commercializing it to a point where we know that if, for example, these huge supermarkets in the country say, we want this specific number of bird, we can target one farmer who is raising for us this bird in a controlled environment, because he's one farmer. So we are rolling out that, and we are getting interested customers. These are not farmers in the village. These are, we are calling them investors, people who want to invest a milli or something like that back in the village. They want to be able to take back their resources that they get in the city back to the communities. They want to unite their societies, you know, where people know that in that kule kwa a certain farmer who lives in Nairobi but comes on Saturdays, and on these Saturdays we go to buy chicken from there, you know, bringing the society together. Those are some of the farmers that we are looking at, investors, and we want to bring them on board. So in terms of my conclusion, I'm really excited. In terms of our trip to India, for me, it's about rejuvenating. It's about going back to my older brother and asking him, am I on the right track? Am I doing it the right way? How different? Because now I have my own experience. It's just trying to verify my experience vis-a-vis the blueprint, you know? How are they doing it? And once I have learned from the master, can I now come back home and tell them, yeah, this is it. Now I have it, you know, without necessarily redoing my mistakes, you know. Can I learn from those who have gone? Like Cake Farm is over 40 years old now. We are barely 6 years old. How can we learn from them and make it real in our country? So I'm really looking forward to the trip in India and coming back like the ego, happy, excited, and really pulling my multitude of farmers and running the business. And hoping that, even because I know farmers will ask, even in this video, why is the market? He has said it. It is trying to master this is not a straight line. Right. I will not tell you this is where the market is, but join and let us discover these things together. That's right. So thank you so much. As I usually say, it is step by step, brick by brick, and God bless you.